Hey, welcome to another St. Stephen Spotlight. Today we have the Holmes. We have Sara and Daniel. How are the two of you, and how have you been since the world sort of changed in mid-March?
Good, good. Things have been pretty good. I've been surprisingly busy. I normally am a substitute teacher, and so I do that a lot, but I've been busy because we have two adult kids at home right now. And our one daughter came home from Massachusetts because she's in the teaching profession, and so she wanted to come home. And her friend is also a teacher, and she came home with her. So we had Kirsten and her friend, and then our youngest daughter, Chloe. And it's just been busy. I don't know.
Full
They,
house.
yeah, Kirsten and her friend did a lot of online teaching. So that was a thing. And then suddenly we had to make dinner for everyone, and everyone wants a gourmet meal. And so fortunately, Kirsten's friend was like a great cook and loved to cook. So it was all good. It was all good.
I want a gourmet meal. Uh, Daniel, how have you been since all of this stuff changed, since everything went down here?
Good. We suddenly, moved to remote teaching, remote meetings, and everything. I had 3 days to prepare for that at Kent State, and then, but it's gone well. And then the semester ended, and then I've just been doing a lot of administration, Zoom meetings, stuff like that. So that's okay, I guess. During this time, I was also treated for prostate cancer during this time. So that was something that I had learned about before COVID started. But then when we got the COVID started, I still obviously had to get treatment. So that was a concern initially, but I've gone through the entire treatment process and it's been good. And I'm just gonna have a follow-up next week actually. So I'm doing very well. Thanks.
Great. So
Yeah.
so the two of you have pretty much outlined how your life has all been up and down and the challenges you faced. Have you been in touch with anybody else from St. Stephen? And have you felt like people have been thinking of you and praying for you with all you've been through?
Yes, I've been meeting regularly, continue to meet regularly with the Saturday men's group. We went from meeting at church to doing virtual meetings, and so that's been really great. I know we talk a lot about share things that's going on, and so I really felt um, prayed for by them, and lots of concern from them, which has been really awesome. Um, we've been staying in touch with Connie via Zoom meetings lately, so that's really nice. We miss being part of choir and bells and that, and so it's good to see her, and it's really nice that she stays in touch with us and reaches out to us, things like that. So, yeah.
What he said.
Okay, well, I've been trying to say in all of these spotlights, I am still not real up on when singing will return to quote unquote normal or part of church. And I've been sort of trying to give the warning that it could be a while.
Yeah.
And I think what you miss with the singing is, of course, the singing and worship, but also the group of people that you were doing it with.
Yeah.
And Connie's tried to duplicate the people staying in touch. And now we just need to, I don't know, move to where we can sing in church too. We'll get there someday.
It's going to be a while.
It is.
I think it's going to be a while.
It is. I'm
to
sorry.
be safe, it just has to be. Yeah, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, bells might be a little more easier, and can maybe get that rebooted again more quickly. But yeah, singing is going to be an issue. Yeah.
Well, Connie,
I know. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I always talk over people. So Connie and I have talked a little bit about the bells, and we have tried to think about how to stay distant but still be able to hear each other. So
yeah.
we've kind of worked on that a little bit. Soon, and this is a bit of the first time I might be saying this publicly, the church just got their hands on an FM transmitter,
Uh,
So soon we're going to have sort of drive-in, and that might be able to include
Oh,
singing, because the person could be, sort of safely by themselves, and no one would be too exposed to them. So, um,
okay.
just stay
right.
tuned. Stay tuned on how we're working
Yeah,
on that. Uh, could
right,
you
right.
could you remind us about how long you've been around St. Stephen, and when you sort of first came to the area, and how long you've been members or attending at St. Stephen?
Yeah, we moved to Stowe in 1992. So we've been here 28 years in that. And we have started at St. Stephen's about 4 or 5 years ago now. It was actually very close to when you started. It was shortly after you had your ceremony at Thanksgiving, and that we came right after that.
So that'll be almost 5 years this fall.
Okay.
So you've been,
Okay.
we'll call it like 4.5 years for you all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
I remember reading in the Stowe Century reading about your, what do they call that? Your ceremony there?
my installation.
Yeah. Yeah. So they had a really nice write up in the Stowe Century about your installation, that service, some photos, and they quoted you and some things. And so I thought, when we read that, I thought, well, this guy sounds pretty good, you know?
Oh, great.
So
I
yeah.
I always wonder about those, I mean, does anybody really care that a church in town has a new pastor, because they give like a whole half page to it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
now I know the answer, that two awesome people really cared. So it was worth it
Yeah.
all. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. So what, in your opinion, in your, let's say, 4.5, almost 5 years at St. Stephen, what have you seen that we do well or you appreciate about St. Stephen?
Well, I think that, well, what I really appreciate is that everyone's really friendly and welcoming. I think that's a very big deal in a church, and it doesn't always happen because people lose, they just don't remember what it's like to be new, I think sometimes. And
They
people don't
comfortable.
always reach out. Hmm?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
get
So
comfortable.
it's just that people forget or whatever. So when we came, people were super friendly, just a nice place. I think, I don't know. I think Connie reached out, or I mentioned I wanted to join choir, and then that was, Connie just like took it away, and then suddenly we're part of Bells, and it's that's been a great thing because
Yeah.
we really love to be part of the music ministry and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and I joined the Vintners early on. So that was fun. I'd never done that before or anything, and so I've learned about making wine, and then met people through that. And it's the activities that the church seems to is willing to try, and new things that the church is willing to do is really appealing. We really like that. Yeah. So
So great, you had a great plug for Connie and for all she does. Connie oversees the choirs at St. Stephen, so that's the singing choir and the bell choir, and she's done that since before I've come. So I don't know,
oh, okay.
years and years, and she does
Yeah.
a really great job of making that a really active and fun group. And then you also mentioned the Vintners, which are on a bit of a hiatus right now because we're still trying to figure out how to offer communion well. But this is a
Yeah.
group. This is a group at St. Stephen that's new. I'd say in the last 3 or 4 years, and
yeah,
they make our wine that we end up using for communion. So it's a sort of fellowship activity, but then it also builds up into worship and has a purpose. So that's great.
yeah. It is. It's been great. Yeah.
So what have you, and I bet I can guess the answer to this, but just so everybody can hear it, what have you missed most about not being able to worship at St. Stephen in a regular way?
Definitely the music ministry.
Yeah.
I miss getting together for bells in the middle of the week and then coming to church and just being part of the music ministry. I mean, also I miss communion and I miss the sermons and the service and seeing everyone. But since we're most involved in that, that's what I miss most. Yeah.
Yeah, just the interactions with people, seeing people on a weekly or more than weekly basis, and that, talking with them. That's been, you know, it's been hard to not have that regularly.
Yeah.
You know? Yep.
And in my experience of the two of you did a great job of, you know, coming to St. Stephen, knowing sort of the larger picture, but then jumping into a few little or smaller groups of things that you enjoy. And I can imagine, because of how quickly and how actively you jumped into those, that not having them is kind of a shock to the system. So
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The only thing I like is getting a little more sleep on Sunday morning.
that's true. I can imagine there's a lot of people in that with you too. They miss the singing and but they like the sleeping. I think that's right. So one of the questions I've been asking during the spotlights has to do with, you know, some hopeful day when we get back together, we'll get to go back to, you know, sort of a more routine more and more. And normally I ask, oh, what are you most looking forward to? But I'm betting I can guess what that answer would be for you guys, that the singing or the choir being able to be back in worship would be a big deal.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, just seeing everybody again, and that having that camaraderie and that unified spirit, and that we've also just this last week brought Sarah's mom here from Minnesota. So she's visited St. Stephen's in the past, and that when she's come visit us, and she's going to stay with us for, you know, a couple months, maybe longer. We're not sure. So she'd like to visit too, I'm sure, and you know.
Yeah, when that's possible.
Yeah.
So
She was no, she was living in an assisted living place, and they have normally a worship service every Sunday down on the first floor, and they, you know, so she's been watching it on TV because they plug it into the TV or whatever, and but it's, you know,
it's not the same.
Obviously, it's not the same. Yeah.
But it's reasonable. I mean, it's I commend those folks for making that available. And although it's not the same, it's, you know, maybe half of the usual. So it's some connection with what she knows. It sounds to me, in what you all are sharing, that your full house is all the time even getting even more fuller and more full. And then I hear a lot of hospitality in what you're talking about, that you all seem to be very hospitable people. So sounds great.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, it's been fun. I mean, it's been a silver lining because, you know, obviously this is a terrible situation with COVID, but we normally don't get to see our middle daughter. She lives in Massachusetts, and she's busy in the summer. And this year we got to take a vacation to Lake George, New York, and hung out there as a family. And then we might be able to do one more, and, you know, having my mom here and that kind of stuff. So it's nice when that happens. So.
Yeah.
So I've also been talking in the spotlights about adding folks to the prayer list. Daniel, I think we'll go ahead and put you on the prayer list. Sarah, you have a lot going on with sort of work and things in the fall and missing singing for both of you. So we'll add you guys to the prayer list for the coming week here. And also your kids, it's Kirsten, Chloe, I'm missing one, and then Jeremy. I'm missing.
Jeremy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. And then remind me of your mom's name.
Audrey.
Audrey. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll put all of you on the prayer list for this, you know, just to highlight that you all were the spotlight. Is there any other thing that we can pray for you all for?
I think that's good. Just praying for the family.
Yeah.
And, you know,
mm-hmm.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, we do appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah.
And we can also pray that we can maybe find creative ways or get back to singing, because, you know, people would like to do that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So
Definitely.
When I get to the end of this, I ask people, so that we can go out on a sort of hopeful, fun note, to give us some sort of recommendation of a good book or a good movie or show, or if you have a joke to tell. I always want to try to go out on a high note. So if you have any of that, this is your chance.
Okay. Well, we've been doing a lot of hikes, you know, so we can meet up with Jeremy on the weekends and that. He lives in Brunswick, and that. So, and I remember you saying that one of the things that you like to do whenever you go on a hike or something is take a little pebble, a little sample, a rock sample,
Mhm.
you know. So usually it's pretty small, I think you say. Anyways, um,
These are from
so
these are
ooh,
from
oh,
Lakeside. So yeah,
okay,
I have stones all around me that I've taken from walks, and yeah.
yeah, okay. Well, we went on a hike in Lake George, and Prospect Mountain hike, which was a really fabulous hike. And so I remembered you had said that. So I got a sample as well. So I thought I'd show it to you because I'm a geologist. So this is the sample that I got,
Uh-huh.
and it's a beautiful, nice sample with banding and stuff like that. And so now we keep this out on our deck, and this is our Lake George vacation rock sample. And it also reminds me of you and you know how you've influenced our lives. So
I'm
just
I'm
want to
not
share that.
I'm not sure that teaching people to steal rocks from their hikes is really the high point of my life, but that I was going to say that I saw a lot of striation or banding or something on that,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
know, I go on hikes and it grabs my attention, and then I try to remember that day and that hike by keeping the rock. So hopefully
yeah,
you can remember that trip, and you said you might go on another one.
yeah. We might
go to Michigan.
we might try to go to
Well,
Michigan next month.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Michigan.
I did question whether it was legal to take that rock.
I,
I don't know.
But I'm a professional geologist.
yeah.
I don't know if that matters.
I don't think it's legal, but I do it, and it's not even recommended. For me, you're a geologist. I'll say there's scripture about building your life on the rock, so it's spiritual, and I have to do it. So,
Yeah.
so Michigan has
Yes.
Michigan has so
Yep.
many rocks that I say go ahead and take one.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll mention that if we get stopped.
So thank you for joining us for this spotlight. And it was great to be able to see you. And I think the people of St. Stephen will love being able to catch up with you. And I look forward to seeing and hearing the two of you in worship and singing one of these days.
Very good.
Sounds
Very good.
Yeah, thank
Yep.
you for having us here.
Thanks.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.